Welcome to this year of end examen. We're inviting you to take a few moments in these days that exist between Christmas and New Year's, where a lot of the hustle and bustle has settled down, and we have a few minutes to reflect, to notice, to be present to what has taken place in the year that's ending before we celebrate a new year's beginning. We hope that this is a gift to you in this season. The practice we are going to engage in together can take anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, and it's entirely up to you how long you want it to last. This recording, I expect, will be between 20 and 25 minutes, but you are welcome to pause in moments where we're stopped and take as long as you need before you move to the next prompt. There are several things you're going to need to gather. So I would encourage you to print out the worksheet that comes along with this as a place to record your thoughts. I would also encourage you to have your planner or your calendar, if you use them, as well as it might be helpful to have some pictures, like if you keep pictures on your phone, organized by month in particular. We are going to be purposely looking back over the year, and these are tools that can help us remember things as we go through. The last thing you'll need is something to write with. And those are the only objects that you'll need. I would encourage you to have a quiet space where you'll be uninterrupted and you can settle in. So if you need to go gather those things, pause right here, run and grab them. We'll be waiting for you when you come back. As you settle in to this time and space, I encourage you to place both of your feet on the floor. Press your back into your chair. Become aware of how supported you are. Take a deep breath. With your next inhale, imagine filling your lungs all the way up to the top, their fullest capacity. And then as you exhale, notice them softening, emptying. With your next inhale, scan from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head and notice where your body is holding on to tension. Maybe you notice a knot in your chest, tightness in your back. Maybe it's you notice that your shoulders and ears are awfully close together. Maybe you notice a crick in your neck. Whatever you notice, take a moment and move those places around. Invite your body to come to a deeper state of rest. If it's that you roll your shoulders, your neck, pop your ankles or your knees, whatever you need to do. With your next inhale, gather all of this awareness of your body and bring it to your mind. Notice here how thoughts come and go to the best of your ability. Simply allow your thoughts to be without judging them, without getting attached to them, but also without trying to ignore or repress them. Simply allow your thoughts to come and then let them go. With your next inhale, gather all of this awareness of your body and your mind and bring it to heart space. Notice here how feelings come and go to the best of your ability. Simply allow your feelings to be what they are without judging them, getting hooked by them, or ignoring or repressing them. Like a wave on the ocean, simply allow your feelings to rise and fall. With your next inhale, gather all of this awareness of your body, your mind, and your heart, and bring it into soul space, that place where all of who you are comes to meet with God. Notice here any resistance that you feel to being vulnerable in God's presence. To the best of your ability, simply allow your resistance to be what it is without judging it, without getting attached to it or obsessed with it, and also without ignoring it. Simply allow your resistance to be what it is. Now shift your attention away from yourself and onto God's presence. Notice God's loving smile to spend this time with you. If at any moment, as you're practicing this examen, you feel a sense of anxiety, being overwhelmed, shame, come back to this moment. Simply be in God's presence and allow yourself to be loved. turning your attention to the tools that you've gathered. I want to invite you to look through your calendar, your planner, the pictures, whatever tools you've chosen to help you remember. And I want to invite you to look through them 1 month at a time. And you're looking for the single event that stands out, catches your attention, feels important to you now. If you find a month that doesn't seem to have an event, it's fine. You don't have to force one. Do sit with it long enough to notice. And if there are a couple of these months that have more than one event that catches your attention as having a lot of importance, well, then record them both. The rules are here as a guidance, not as hard and fast do's and don'ts. Use them as they serve you. We'll pause here for several minutes for you to reflect and review your last year. You are always welcome to pause here and take as long as you need. When you have an event recorded or a moment recorded from each of the 12 months of 2021, I want to invite you to look back over those events, the list that you've made recording them, and ask yourself, where was God in each of these moments? How was God present to the people involved in these moments? Add that noticing to your notes for each month. Again, we'll pause here and you take as long as you need to fill that noticing in. Again, you are invited to pause the video here and take as long as you need. As you consider these 12 events, maybe more, maybe less, from the last year and God's presence with you in them, is there a theme that emerges or a place where you see growth? What growing edge do these events reveal in you? Ask God to help you see. Feel free to pause here if you need longer. As you consider that growing edge, what feelings do you have about it? What do you notice? Are you proud of it? Are you surprised by it? Are you sad? Do you feel angry? What feelings come up as you consider this growing edge? Know that you are welcome to pause here if you need more time. How can you purposely pursue this growing edge in the coming year? Or another way to ask that is, what practices foster this kind of growth? You were invited to stay here as long as you need to answer this question. If you find that nothing is coming, it's a great conversation to have with your spiritual director. As you consider this growing edge that you've noticed, is there a biblical story or verse, or is there a poem or a piece of artwork that comes to mind as you consider your path of purposeful growth? You're invited to rest here for as long as you need. And as you do so, imagine that God is sitting with you and that God is looking with you at what you have written, your memories, your growth, your feelings about the growth. Feel God's love with you. And then engage in conversation with God about your year, about how you've noticed that you've grown, about how you hope to keep growing in all of this, in the conversation and in the noticing. Stay rooted, stay grounded in the promise that you are loved. Know that we at 1128 desire to walk with you in whatever ways can be helpful. We wish you a beautiful and happy new year.